Hi everybody, Ryan back again today. Doing a much awaited video for today. Something we've been asked about quite a bit and in the comments on other videos, and also in some of our, we've just started the live session type things. We've got questions about new and used truck buying, and you know, what I would recommend, or you know, what my thoughts are, I guess you could say. And I actually had some time. I was doing a farm video today earlier, so I was kind of in the video mood, which I don't always get into, where like, you know, I'm usually go, you know, out working and all that, and I don't want to stop. And it seems like when I'm trying to do a video and do something, trying to get a job done, it makes it take twice as long. So that kind of gets in the way sometimes, you know, of my mentality, like I said, of always just trying to get the job done. But there's a lot of stuff I need to slow down and try to do the videos for you guys and all that. So like I said, I was kind of in the mood today. Did a farm video, and for those of you that don't know or new to us, we used to do our farm stuff on this channel, then we kind of separated things, and so we have a new moved everything over to a separate channel as far as our farm stuff goes. So if you're interested in old tractors, farming in general, animals and all that, we always post the link for the other channel in the titles or the description of these videos on the trekking channel, so check that out as well if you're interested in that. But anyways, back to the topic here. So I was in here today, came and had some lunch, and I started thinking, well, I want to get that new and used truck buying video out there, or breakdown. So I sat down. I've been sitting here for about an hour and a half roughly, working numbers and, you know, on a piece of scratch paper, and finally got a nice outline worked out, and I put everything up on the whiteboard here, which I know probably won't be really, it might be hard to read, but I'm going to go through everything and explain everything. So try to listen closely, and if you don't get it the first time, then I guess go back through another time or whatever you have to do to get everything, but I'll do the best that I can. So a lot of people have different opinions on buying a new truck or a used truck, getting into the business and all that. I've always had used trucks. Even I had an SFI truck, and it was actually a used truck as well, the SFI truck. It had 48, I had a 2017 T680 Kenworth, and it had like just under 50,000 miles when I got it. So it was a little bit cheaper than a brand new truck by a few $100s a week with SFI. And then after that, I turned that truck in after 2 years, and then I bought a T660, a 2013 model, and that's what I've been running for a while. And as you, like I said, if you guys don't know me and you're new to the channel, I drove for, I was a company driver, owner-operator. Well, I was a mechanic first, you know, military and civilian. Worked on, you know, cranes, worked for Caterpillar, worked for railroad contractors, and I was in the Navy for almost 10 years as a heavy equipment mechanic in the Seabees. So then I came out and, like I said, did civilian work as a mechanic in several different fields, and then got tired of that. I already had a Class A CDL, so I decided to go trucking for a while, did company driver thing, then got an owner operating for roughly 4 years, I guess, give or take, as far as the owner operator side. And now I've gotten out of that due to family situation and wanting to you know, pursue other business ventures. So I'm not driving anymore. I'm doing, like, set up a maintenance business, you know, on site for heavy equipment, ag equipment, and trucks as well. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So I've always had used trucks, and it's worked out for me. Since I work on everything myself. I mean, if you're not working on everything else, these numbers are going to be a little bit skewed because you're going to have to account for labor and all that. But I'll go ahead and get right into it here. So kind of made a little graph right here, and get two axes, I guess. So up and down is basically money, which you'd pay per month roughly, per month or week or whatever, or yearly, and this is mileage on the truck as you would buy it, or as the age of the truck progresses. So over here you got 0 miles. So a truck with 0 miles, you're going to pay a high payment. Then over time, you know, eventually you're going to pay that truck off, you know, at some point, you know, whether it's a 72-month note or 48-month note or whatever. So that's going to drop off somewhere, and according to, you know, as the mileage gets higher, that's when that payment's going to drop off. So that's this, you know, line here is the mileage you know, versus the higher payment. So, but I mean, it's like I said, it's probably going to drop off, but that, you know, kind of gives you the idea. So on this side, we have maintenance. And like I said, this is, you know, at 0 miles, you're not going to have too much maintenance or, you know, repairs. I don't want to misconstrue maintenance, because I've left, just a disclaimer, I've left tires and oil changes and all those expenses out of this equation, because whether you buy a new truck or a used truck, I mean, tires are going to wear roughly the same. Oil changes are going to be roughly the same, you know, for the most part. So maintenance items like that, I've kind of left those out of these numbers, because regardless whether you buy a new truck or a used truck, I mean, basic routine scheduled maintenance is going to be roughly the same. So I'm not taking that into account in these equations here. So you're starting out at 0 here. You get about 3 to 350K is kind of where you get to that happy medium, to where you get a reasonable truck payment and a reasonable level of maintenance or repairs that need to be done on a truck. So I mean, me personally, that's where I like to be, is kind of in that middle area. And there's a lot of other factors you got to consider too. So be kind of thinking, like I said, as 0 miles, you're going to have a high payment, but your maintenance is going to be really low. And then, like I said, you might over here might have a small payment, or if you buy a truck, a $30,000 truck, $20,000 truck, $40,000 truck. I mean, if you buy that outright, I mean, you may have no payment at all, and you know, other than your initial investment, which you need to consider as well. But you're going to have, you know, higher on a cheap, really cheap truck. I mean, there's going to be a lot. You're going to see more repairs and all that coming down the road. So. As far as I just quit driving. I just left Landstar last month, June of 2021 here. So I paid my truck off. It had I actually paid it off early. Just wrote a check for 11 grand and was done with it. Paid it off. It had a 48-month note on it. It was a $52,000 truck, roughly, something like that. And my payment was $12.49 a month. And going over my taxes for the last 2 years, last year at, you know, repair and maintenance items other than oil and tires, we were at $13,562 for the year, which comes out to $1,130 monthly. So, and that's with me doing the maintenance myself. And I actually talked to 2 or 3 people, and we were talking about this. I mean, this current T660, other than my, you know, Landstar inspections, annual inspections, this truck has never been and I've had, you know, steer tires and stuff I actually put the last set of drive tires on myself. But other than steer tires, this truck has never been in a shop. It's never been worked on by anybody else but me. So, I mean, if you've watched my videos, I've done about everything you can do to them, getting ready to put a transmission, clutch in it, and kingpins, and get ready to put it up for sale. So, these are just parts, guys. So this is this stuff that I went to Kenworth, Cummins, wherever, and bought, and that's no labor. So I mean, if you were to attach a labor to that, you might be $23,000. So with labor or whatever, maybe more. So with what I have, that basically puts my annual payment at monthly payment at $23.79, and this is where this number kind of threw me off for a while, and I got to thinking. I mean, because I was throwing these numbers out one time on a YouTube video, and I got a comment. Well, okay, you're at $2,400 a month, and why don't you just go buy a new truck? That sounds really good. You know, I got to thinking about that for a while, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, when you look at it at the surface, but it's not the whole picture. So don't just look at your monthly maintenance costs and a truck payment and then add those together and like, okay, I can go buy a $2,500. You know, I'm better off buying getting into a $2,200 truck payment. Because as I get farther through this, you're going to see that really isn't the whole story with all this. So I've got a tale of 2 trucks here. We've got a brand new truck and a used truck here, and I've got all the numbers written down, you know, with interest and payments and all that. So I got a couple bullets over here I wanted to talk about first. FET, that's federal excise tax. Anything new, especially new truck, if you buy a brand new truck, or even it's on brand new truck tires too, anything you buy like that carries an 11% tax. So I'm going to show that here in a second. So like on 150, you go in at a dealer, a lot of times they'll have a price and they might say plus FET or FET included. So if it says plus FET, you need to add 11% on top of that price. So say we're looking at a $150,000 truck, the sticker price, and that's plus FET. So 11% of 150,000 is $16,500. So the actual out the door cost, I mean, without anything else that you might get thrown in, extended warranties and all that stuff. I mean, so basically the price for that $150,000 stickered truck, FET, you're now at $166,500. So that is the number one reason I don't think I would ever buy a new truck, because I cannot swallow giving the government $16,500 just because I'm buying a new truck, where if that truck, somebody had bought that and already paid that and driven that truck 100 miles down the road and for some reason brought it back, I would not pay that $16,500 because it had already been paid when that truck was new. So I've had people argue that before, but once the FET has been paid, that's it for that truck. It's already been paid. I mean, it's the first time, new owner, they're the one who pays it. After that, like I said, they could drive it 50 miles down the road, then decide to sell it or bring it back. Then if you went in there and bought it, you wouldn't have to pay that. So it's the biggest scam in the world. So the other thing with new trucks is warranty. I think Kenworth, bumper to bumper on their trucks is 1 year, 12 months. I know the PACCAR engine warranties, I believe, are 24 months, 250,000 miles. And then for the most part, I mean, you know, the different components, I mean, different manufacturers like Eaton, Fuller, they have a different warranty range. I think theirs might be 3 years or something. I don't know off the top of my head. So there's different warranties, ranges with different components on the truck. Warranties are great, I guess, but the thing is, it's not going to, if you have a transmission go out or your engine, the bottom end of your engine goes out after 30,000 miles, and that truck's sitting in, I mean, most dealers I've called around here trying to help people out sometimes when there's something that I don't want to get into, or it's over, you know, whatever. I've called up Freightliner dealers up in Cleveland, Kenworth. Some of these places, guys, they are a week to 2 weeks out from when you call right now. They will not even look at your truck for 2 weeks. So 2 weeks before they even look at it. So it doesn't matter, like, just because you bought a new truck or it's warranty, they're not going to bring you in any fast. I don't care if you bought 100 trucks. They will not give you priority. Because like I said, I've had talked to people like, oh, I bought 10 trucks from Peterbilt and they're going to give me, you know, I've had other people tell me that, like, oh, they're going to give me priority because I bought 10 trucks. No, there's people like, you have people like Snyder and Swift and all of them, they're buying thousands, you know, hundreds or thousands of trucks every year, and they're not getting priority. So, I mean, this guy, Joe Blow, that walks in that buys, you know, buying 5 trucks, they're not going to give you priority. So it just because you bought a new truck and it's under warranty, you're not getting put ahead of anybody, you're not getting expedited. So just, I mean, if anybody's trying to tell you that, I mean, I wouldn't believe it. So as a seller, I mean, if they're trying to sell you that or something, it's just, it ain't going to happen. So say you're sitting there up here with this truck, we have a $3,085 a month truck payment. So say, okay, now you're waiting 2 weeks just to get looked at, your engine needs rebuilt, and it's probably going to be in there. I mean, it's probably going to take them 2-3 weeks to do that. So you're down for 5 weeks. So you've just ate almost $3,100 in a payment, unless you can somehow work it out with the finance, you know, whether it's PACCAR credit or Volvo credit, whatever. Maybe they'll put it on I mean, even if they put it onto the end of the note or something, you're still paying it, unless you could maybe get them to forgive it or whatever, or take it off. So I mean, before you even, you know, consider, I mean, and on the other thing I didn't write on here was insurance as well. So say, you know, on this truck here, this $50,000 truck, your comp collision, which you have to cover the, you know, the note if the truck was totaled or whatever, which is, you know, required by your lender. This here might be, the last, I had my truck valued, I think, at $37,000 or something, the last, with First Guard, and they're really competitive, and I think I was paying $130 a month. But when I had my T680, I mean, I was up in the, you know, when I was with Gallagher with Landstar, I mean, I was paying almost $700 a month, and when I went over to First Guard, I was paying like $375 or something. So you add your insurance on top of that you had to pay, and all your other, you know, fixed expenses. I mean, you could very easily get into $4,000 or $5,000 that, you know, because you're sitting for 5 weeks, you know, that money's gone. You're not making any money. Not only that, you got to pay that money out, and then you don't have any income for you and your family to make your house payment, your other vehicle payments or whatever, because they're not going to cover, the warranty is not going to cover your lost revenue. So there is a false sense of security, I think, with these warranties out there. I mean, yeah, you're going to get the work done. In a lot of cases, you're going to get the work done for free. Parts are usually going to be free, but in some cases, I mean, if you get towed, they don't cover a tow bill. I mean, so if it costs $1,000 to get towed, you can add that to the list of expenses you got too. So they're not going to pay a tow bill. So just because it has a warranty doesn't mean it's going to save your life. So yeah, you might get out of a $10,000 or $15,000, $30,000 engine bill or something like that where you don't have to pay. But you're going to be down and you're going to be hurting for a little while, most likely, unless you've got a nice, $10,000 saved up or something to pay your business expenses and then your personal expenses. So that's that. Now, the fuel economy factor, the way I kind of put it, last year, 2020, I spent $37,279 on fuel. So my truck averages a little bit under 6. With my driving habits, I probably drive a little bit faster and harder than most people do. I've deleted all the progressive shift out of my truck, so it will, in every gear, it will tack out to 2,000 RPMs basically. So, and yeah. And, out west where it's 75 or 80, I run 75 or 80. So, I mean, I probably burn a lot more fuel than what the normal driver does. But when I had my T680, it had a PACCAR MX-13, and it's 13-speed manual, 336 rears. This truck I have now has a 10-speed Cummins ISX-15, and it has 342 rears with a 10-speed manual. And I'd also have the PDI on that that's pushing me. My truck right now is a 485 ST. With the PDI, I'm supposed to get like 15%. So, I mean, I'm up in the range of almost 550 horsepower, roughly. So, like I said, my truck's a little bit under 6 mpg. When I had my PACCAR, my T680, running this with the same driving habits, basically, my average is up at around 7.5, which is a 20% difference. So if I was still running that T680 versus the T660 now with the Cummins, with the same driving habits, I would have saved almost $7,500, $7,455 in fuel savings. So that's something that you consider out with like buying one of these older trucks as well. I mean, I've heard of people getting 6.8 or whatever, but it just really depends on how what engine it is, how it's worn, how the truck's set up, all that, all that. There's many variables. So the last thing is, how much are you planning to run? Are you planning on, a guy out here, you want to run 50,000 miles a year? Or, I mean, are you going to go out here and hit hard and run 120? So, I mean, if you're going to go out and buy that brand new Kenworth or Volvo or Peterbilt, whatever, and you only want to work 2 weeks a month, you're going to have a big fixed cost that's going to, you're going to, even though you're working 2 weeks and you're sitting at home 2 weeks, I mean, you're going to pay for that time off. So, I mean, if you're looking to kind of do a thing like, when I've got back in, I was in owner-operated trucking for 2 years. Then I got out for about 6 months. Then I got back in, and I was kind of hurting, got behind, not making late payments and not paying bills or anything, but I kind of racked up a lot of credit card debt and a lot of other bills and stuff like that, because I was used to making a lot of money when I was owner-operated before. Then I got out of it and was kind of doing a company driver thing and some other stuff for about 6 months. And when I got back in owner-operated trucking, I mean, I was out there hitting it pretty hard. I was doing like those 12,000 mile, or plus months just to get caught back up. So, but then kind of after I got caught back up, then I've kind of tapered off to, for family situations and all that. So, you guys that have watched me in the last year, I've been kind of, going out to the West Coast, 2 week and a half, 10-day, 2 week trip. And then I come home for 2 weeks, basically 10 days to 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. So if I had, $3,100 a month truck payment, that probably wouldn't work out too well. So you really have to look at your situation, family situation. I mean, do you got to be home every weekend? I mean, a lot of people they hold on to that. I got to be home Saturday and Sunday type of thing. And that can cost you a lot of revenue when you're not. Some loads pay, because then that cuts you out of the longer trips. Some loads you might have to sit somewhere over the weekend. I mean, you never know. So I mean, if you're out here one of these cowboy, cowgirl, freewheeling type of things where you're up for anything, you're ready to run, you're going to run, 120,000 miles a year. then yeah, you could probably stomach that bigger payment. But if you're kind of wanting to putt around and, you know, kind of do what you want, take a week off here, take a week off there, and you know, you got to be home on the weekends, stuff like that, where your schedules and all that are constrained, then I would recommend getting something cheaper. So, and the other thing with that, how much you're running, the more miles you run, your cost per mile on your fixed expenses is going to drop down. So, I mean, it may make more sense for you to buy something more expensive because your cost per mile is going to drop the more miles you run. So that's something else to keep in mind. So the other thing, we're going to go ahead and get into these two trucks here. So first thing, we got a new $150,000 truck. Like I said, FET, 11%, brings that up to $166,500. So I got 10% APR on both of these trucks, so I'm going to tell you why. I don't care if you got an 850 credit score. When you go, if you're going in for new business credit, I mean, unless you're putting that truck in your name, in your personal name, which I would not recommend for liability reasons. You see all these people, I mean, if you're driving a truck now, you're a company driver, whatever, you're out on the roads, one of the, probably 50% of the reason I got off of the road, because these people out here and these four-wheelers and everything else are psychotic. They're crazy. A lot of them, they're out there, they're looking for a paycheck, a free lunch, you know, whatever. And I mean, for liability reasons, I mean, they're so distracted, they're so passive aggressive. You know, I don't want to be around them anymore. You know, and you have to have, I think, to do this job, to be a driver, whether you're a company driver, owner-operator, or whatever, you kind of have to have a mutual respect with people, or you have to have, you know, you have to trust people to do the right thing. And like for me, that is completely gone. These people out here, like I'm just watching them drive by my house. It's 45 mile an hour here, and you can just hear by the wind. Some of these people, they're running 70 mile an hour down through here, and they're like, I just don't get it. So I mean, so for me, like that bond, that trust bond, or whatever you want to call it, to you know, rely on people to do the right thing, and just be normal people and respectful, and like I said, just do the right basic thing, is gone. So I mean, and that's a whole other topic for discussion. But as far as liability, if you put that truck, I mean, you can talk. I mean, I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, or any type of legal specialist. But that's something you may want to talk to an attorney out, or a financial expert as far as, but me personally, I would not put a commercial truck in my personal name at all, because when you do that, it's going to, if you have an incident or something somewhere, or somebody even hits you and you're out, I mean, anything. And there's people out here, there's scams. They're looking to get into wrecks with trucks because they want to get a payoff. So, and when you have that truck in your personal name, it opens them not only to come up after your business assets, but after your personal assets too, because it can be argued that, you know, your business and your personal assets are not separate. So, like I said, you could have an 850 personal credit score, and you go in with your new LLC and everything set up. You got your tax ID number, or EIN and all that, and you go in there with that. You're probably going to be, if you're going to probably pay 7 to 15% interest roughly. Depending on how long you've been in business. I mean, if you've had credit cards set up under that EIN and have some credit history and all that, you might be on the low end. But if you go in there for new business credit, if you get roughly 10%, I mean, and I'm pretty sure people are going to comment that, you know, they're getting 5. I don't know, but you know, but my experience, what I've seen, what I've talked to people, and you know, like I said, my personal experience with new business credit, if you get around, you know, 10%. You know, give or take, you're going to be doing pretty good. So, I mean, it's going to be high interest. And actually, my wife and I were looking at commercial property here lately, you know, for putting up a shop and all that, and truck parking. And when you go from, you know, residential property to a commercial property, it changes the whole structure of the mortgage on it. And I mean, and you guys know, like, as well as I do right now, you know, here in July, you know, this 2021, interest rates on mortgages and property are pretty low. I mean, you know, like down in the high 2s, you know, even mid 2s. So we was we applied for a commercial loan and everything, and what we was looking at, we were like at 5%, you know, for a commercial property loan. So almost double what you would for a regular residential property. So be prepared for that if you go into Volvo or Kenworth, PACCAR, wherever. If you go in there and apply for a loan, you're gonna, even if you have really good credit on new business credit, you're going to pay, even on, you know, established business credit, you're going to pay higher rates than what you would personally. So anyways, we had 166.5 with FET, 10%, 72 months, guys. That's about these newer trucks, most of them 72 months. Some even go 84 or even longer. So on a 72-month note, you're at $3,085. So with interest, you pay all those payments. You pay $3,085 with interest and everything else for 72 months. You paid $222,000 or $222,088. I don't know why I kept screwing that up. So that's what you paid on interest if you pay every payment out. You paid over $220,000 for that truck, for that $150,000 truck originally, because then you're paying interest on top of the FET. Now, I mean, obviously, if you put money down, that's going to change that. You'd pay a little bit less, but that's like if you want to enter no money down. So I took my maintenance data and kind of plugged it into this. So we're going to say you got this brand new truck, 72-month no-nut, so you're going to have this truck, and I'm looking at both of these trucks for 72 months, so which is 6 years. So we're going to say, okay, you're doing pretty good. The first 5 years, you know, you really haven't had to do anything. If you had to do the first couple of years, you've only spent $1,000 here, a little bit here. So we'll say we're going to throw in 2 years of maintenance, which would you did the work yourself, which I was at $13,562. So we doubled that and put you at $27,124. So we'll add that to this number, this $222,88 that you paid, you know, with interest and everything else on the truck, and that puts you at $249,212, just under $250,000 what it cost you, other than tires and general maintenance stuff, because I'm trying to do a comparison here. So I mean, it might cost you, with maintenance and all, you know, scheduled maintenance, routine maintenance, it's going to cost you a little bit more, but in comparison to these two scenarios, you were at $250,000 up here with this truck from what you paid, you know, and a lot of that's interest and that FET. So we're going to go down to the used truck here. We're going to say you find a truck for $50,000. You're paying 10% interest again. 48 months on this one, guys. So 3 years less payments on this. So you're at $1,268 on that truck. So after you pay all your 48 payments with interest and everything, you'll have paid $60,870 on that truck. So now we're going to say you paid that $13,562 in maintenance. You paid that all 6 years. So you put $13,000 and over $13,000 in that truck every year you've owned it for 6 years. Because like you got, like I said, you're gonna have 2 years on that you don't have a truck payment anymore. So you only paid, you're two less. I mean, you're at $1,800 less on the truck payment versus the new truck on this used truck, and plus you pay it off 2 years sooner. So that saves on a lot of interest as well. So we're gonna say for 6 years, you put $13,562 in that every year. That comes out to $54,248. And then we talked about fuel economy. So this truck up here is probably going to get a lot better, you know, about 10 to 20% better fuel economy because it's newer. It doesn't have much wear on the components and everything. New engines. I mean, even if you have even if I got a brand new IS615 and one that's got 500,000 miles, even though they're the exact same thing, the one with no miles on it is going to get better fuel economy just because everything's tight, nothing's worn, everything works better. So you're going to get, even if, like I said, even if they're the exact same model, but if one's got 500,000 miles on it, you know, it's going to get less fuel economy than the brand new one. So I've taken that 20% fuel economy difference and added that and done the math on that $7,455 we talked about over here. In fuel difference economy. So that would be basically over the course of the 6 years that you've had both these trucks, this one here cost you $44,730 more. So I've added that cost in additionally. So with all this taken into equation, the 6 years ownership on this one only cost me $186,972. So almost over $60,000. It's like $63,000 difference versus, you know, either one. Now, again, this is me doing my own work. So if you're paying shops, I mean, it may eat that $60,000 up, you know, in labor or whatever. So maybe not. So it just depends on what you're capable of doing and really what happens. So like I said, I'm just doing a scenario here to get you guys thinking about all these other variables. The one thing I forgot to write on here, we talked about it a couple minutes ago, was that comp and collision insurance that you have to have that covers the loan on that truck. So I mean, technically on this used truck, you know, after it's paid for, you could drop that if you wanted to. I mean, but you would be, you know, if the truck was if it burnt down or it got totaled or whatever, then you wouldn't get nothing. So I mean, but technically you could. But I mean, after the truck, I mean, once you get down to like $35,000 in value or so, what you're trying to, you know, coverage on the truck, I mean, your interest is going to, or your insurance premiums are going to drop down to like $130 a month. Now, on a brand new truck, when I had my SFI truck and when I first got it, I had it valued at like 135 or something like that. I mean, when I first came over to Landstar with Gallagher, I mean, I was paying like $670 a month in insurance. So, I mean, that's, you know, about probably $400 more than, you know, when you, like, say you bought this truck day one for $50,000, you bought this truck day one was, you know, for $166,500, you'd probably still be seeing a $400 a month savings with the used truck. So that's something to take into account too. Because like I said, when you're insuring something that has a $150,000 value versus something that has a $50,000 value, it's a big, it could be, like I said, a $400 or $500 difference per month. So that's something you need to think about as well. But I didn't put that, it slipped my mind, I didn't put that in here to account for. So, but I mean, gradually you can call every 6 months to your insurance company and update the estimated value, what you want it covered at. I mean, actually you can talk to your lien holder, you know, whether you have PACCAR or Volvo or whoever, you can talk to them, hey, what's my truck worth right now, or where do you guys want it? I mean, whatever you owe on it, you could have it, you know, update your insurance value for that to bring your payments, the insurance payments, premiums down. So like I said, I've always had used trucks, and I've really been never, like I said, I had some, like I said, one time somebody was saying like, oh, well, you're paying almost $2,400 a month, you know, for a used truck. And as you can see, as you actually step back and look at everything, that's not the actual case. Because, like I said, this is a 72-month payment, this is a 48-month payment, so eventually that payment's going to drop off, and then, you know, then I'm cut in half, less than half, as far as just my maintenance, because that's all I have. I mean, right now, I don't have any truck payment. I could go back on the road if I wanted, if I could deal with all the people, and, you know, all I would have was this maintenance. I don't have a payment, so, and my insurance is really cheap, and all that good stuff, so, but like I said, some people just want a new truck. Like I said, it never was for me. And like I said, the main thing, I mean, is that FET. I mean, I cannot stomach that. I can't do it. I can't do it, guys. So my best for somebody getting into the business, I mean, if you're good with, you know, picking at either if you know or you don't know, or if you're good by watching videos or reading tech manuals or whatever, how to figure stuff out yourself, I would recommend, I mean, if you're going to run hard and all that, you're wanting to do that 120, you know, 1,000 miles a year, whatever, you're going to be out there on the road every day of the year, 365 days a year. I would try to find something like down in the 100, 200,000 mile range. And, you know, because that's going to give you something, may still have some engine warranty left and all that. And you're not paying that FET because it's already been, whoever bought it before already paid for it. So that's, it can save you a lot of money right there, because like I said, you're financing that thing. You're basically paying interest on a tax that doesn't have, it's just money gone. You know, it isn't part of the truck. It's just a tax. So that's something to consider as well. So that's, but if you just want to kind of screw around like I am, I mean, and, you know, I would probably get into something, you know, from 350, 500,000 miles. I mean, once you get over that 600K mark is when you're going to start seeing more stuff kind of go down, bigger items probably going to have to be replaced at 650 to 800,000 mile range. And like I said, there's a reason like these bigger fleets like Snyder and all them, you know, like Snyder used trucks and all that. I mean, if you go there and look at their trucks, most of them are getting rid of it, you know, around 500K or so, because that's usually when the major stuff starts happening, you know, and they don't maintain them really well. I mean, I really wouldn't recommend buying a former fleet truck. I mean, for the most part, especially something, you know, something's been governed to 63, they carbon pack easier, and all that stuff. So, and a lot of these fleets, their maintenance interval is like 80,000 miles. So it's not a matter of if you put a full synthetic oil, the oil is perfectly capable of handling that amount of, you know, mileage and engine time and all that. But the big problem is that these engines are dirty. I mean, like I said in the last live session, EGR, everybody talks about getting a pre-emissions truck. I mean, and there's really no such thing as a pre-emissions truck anymore. I mean, EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, has been around since the late 70s roughly, so even on diesels. So it's not something, and that's what is the nasty thing, is that's what's taking that exhaust gas, all that soot and carbon, and it's throwing it back into the intake of the engine. So and that works its way into the oil and everything else one way or another, and that's the stuff that causes, it's abrasive. I mean, it gets in your cylinder liners and stuff like that, and that's what causes a lot of wear. So I mean, if you're looking at something, they're doing, you know, oil changes. I mean, I don't think I would buy anything that's been maintenance intervals over 30,000 miles. I don't think I'd be interested. I mean, I try to do mine 15, maybe a push it to 20, and just run, like I said, conventional oil. So that's kind of that story with you know, with those fleet trucks and whatnot. I mean, your best off is trying to find somebody with a small fleet that's actually maintained the trucks, or an owner-operator that's always maintained the truck, but I mean, those are kind of far and few between. So that's kind of it with that. That's pretty much it, guys, for this that I can think of at this point. I'm pretty sure we'll probably get some other questions and stuff, and we'll do the best we can to circle around with those. If it's like I said, comment and all that if you got any other further questions. You said, I know there was something else that I was forgetting here with this, but I think I've hit most of the points. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We appreciate all the support and everything. Like I said, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for the updates. Like the video. Yeah, and like I said, this is more of a numbers thing, roughly. I mean, I'm not getting, I touched on a few maintenance items, but I'm really just kind of looking at the numbers on this and how it breaks down, you know, to your finances and whatnot. So I mean, as far as actually going out and looking, you know, used truck versus, I mean, there's so many variables. I mean, as far as, you know, how something was maintained, what's been done to it and all that. So I mean, it really comes down, I mean, buying a new truck versus a used truck, I mean, other than the numbers, when you're looking at them side by side, I mean, it really just depends case by case basis of what's been done to this truck, how's it been ran, how's it been treated. So there's really not a one size fits all for every single scenario. So, but like I said, I was just trying to cover the numbers and a little bit of maintenance stuff on this. So, but anyways, like I said, thanks for watching. You know, comment, whatever you got to do. We'll do the best we can to circle around and get those. If not, we usually try to bring, we just started the live sessions. We try to cover a lot of stuff in the live session now. It's a little bit quicker and easier for us because we're busy with got a lot of moving pieces here now going on. So with 2 other businesses. So, but again, thanks for watching. Like I said, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Hit the bell for the updates, like the video. And again, if you're interested in the farm stuff, old tractors and all that, check out our farming channel as well. If you're interested, also, we have a website for our maintenance business. I'm not offering in-shop stuff right now due to zoning constrictions, and I've got, not trying to draw a bunch of attention to me here right now. So mostly on-site stuff. I mean, if you're out at, I can meet you at a truck stop up here. Or I can even, if you live in the area, we can come out. Like I said, if you need an oil change, like why go wait at TA for 9 hours when you can call us and sit inside and drink a beer, whatever you like to do, and we can take care of it for you. So we have a website for that, and my wife, she always posts our website for that with our contact information. We have an email address, a phone number for the business, and all that. So check that as well. And like I said, anyways, we'll start talking about the farm stuff. But anyways, if you're interested in the farm stuff, we always post the link for the farm channel as well. So again, guys, appreciate all the support. Have a good day. Hope this helps you out, and we'll see you next time.